If it is or if it ain't, it's gonna come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is February the 10th, 2024, and today the topic is a moment like this. Yes, happy Saturday, y'all. Happy Saturday. Y'all know that it's D-Day, man. It's the day of the show Shadows of the Opera at the Griffin Opera House. Um, yeah, man. First amazing thing is I woke up around the time that I was supposed to wake up. I think maybe even it was a little bit earlier, probably around three something. And I'm waking up to lovely messages from one of my best homegirls. That's I know she's traveling nationwide right now and stuff like that. But she took the time to congratulate and I guess wish blessings and whatnot upon us for the show tonight. And then not only that, my virtual assistant over in Kenya, she decided to bless me with some kind words and whatnot again as well around centered around the show that's tonight and stuff like that. So I took a little moment to reflect this morning to think about that, man. This is amazing to have global support, for me and my endeavors in the show tonight and things of that nature. I pray that everything goes well. I intend to be on site early and things of that nature and whatnot. But yeah, it's a good time, man. A great day. I'm gonna see what the Lord do. Um, so if I talk about yesterday real quick, I mean, it was cool. Friday was cool. I hope that you guys enjoyed the episode of the GSL Talk Show. If you missed it, then all you got to do is go to godsexandlove.com and you can tune in and see all about real estate investing and all kinds of good information like that from our guest, Miss Sally Gaiman. Gaiman, I know I'm saying her name wrong, but yeah, you guys can check out that episode and everything like that. Outside of that, I'm just doing final touches and whatnot for the show. Hand painting, hand washing, making sure this and that is together. So yeah, I even had a chance to do a virtual run through with the cast, and that was good and whatnot as well. So yeah, man, it's exciting. It's an exciting day, and I'm grateful for each and every person that had a hand in making this whole situation happen. And I'm thanking them in advance. And um, yeah, I'm gonna try to do my best to get footage and take pictures and and prayerfully put on a good shindig and production tonight. So with that being said, I would say that obviously tonight inspired this conversation about a time or a moment like this. Because actually when I woke up this morning and I was doing all of that, sharing my thoughts and thanking the people that were sending love and whatnot. At some point I found out, I felt like my mind was all jumbled and stuff. So I said, it might be a time just to get some more rest. So I did. I went back to sleep and stuff. So by the time I woke back up, one of the first things that came on my heart and mind was a moment like this. And I would say right after a split second after I had that thought, the thought a time such as this, um, came into my heart and mind as well. We know that that's a quote from good old Esther. So I took a little dive into, her and her situation in the Bible, the Bible. And yeah, I mean, now the interesting thing about this Esther story is that one, I was in a production not long ago, it was a few years ago, and it's called Esther and everything like that. And I was kind of like one of the side comedic relief characters and stuff, but it was an amazing show to be a part of and to, like, see the story come to life and things of that nature. Um, and it's interesting because I was listening to something yesterday. I think it was Marcus Rogers and his wife chit chatting, and he was talking about monitoring spirits and how Haman was being slick and trying to operate behind the scenes negatively and whatnot. So I mean, I guess all of that kind of goes into this conversation about a time such as this or a moment like this. Because yeah, even though I'm maybe basking in all this great, glorious, and glorious things that are going on, and again, like I said, I give all the glory to the Lord. At the end of the day, He opened the door, He set the path, He got the steps going, all the different things, right? This was divinely placed and things of that nature. But even with that, perhaps I am in the place that I'm in for a time such as this, for a moment like this. Again, hey, what would I be talking about today? If things didn't plan out or pan out the way that they did, right? Would I be speaking today? Things of that nature as well. I mean, um, I considered, not quote unquote going live this morning when I was feeling kind of tired and stuff, but again, I've committed to do Monday through Saturdays, and I've been trying my best to do that. I know I've been kind of slacking on the time, so I switched all of that up. Those that follow us, you may have noticed that it doesn't say that the show is coming out at 6 anymore. I just put as the Lord leads, or as the Spirit leads, whatever. And so, um, but yeah, but even with all of that, right? I think we all should just be reminded that sometimes we are in the position we're in for a reason, right? And a lot of times, again, the things that we do, the positions we're in, whatever it is, it's for someone else. And so, there's another thing that reminds me of that because yesterday I was listening to Sister Dana Ray, and she was speaking on a lot of different things and how, again, the choices that we make. Um, can affect someone else and things of that nature. And, sometimes we're holding up our own blessings by not being obedient and all of that. And so, let's take a little dive into this and that whole concept, a moment like this, and see what the Lord has to share for the Jews. So, Esther 4:14, it says, "For if you keep silent at this time, relief and deliverance will rise for the Jews from another place. But you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether you are not come to the kingdom for such a time as this." Obviously, this is the wise words of Mordecai, advising the then Queen Esther and things of that nature. You guys can dive deeper into that whole story and see what happened and how she became queen and things of that nature. And obviously, it was something that the Lord used to free the Jews and things of that nature, and save their bloodline from Haman's plots, right? But yeah, I mean, basically he's letting her know that, hey man, if you decide to keep silent, then God will still deliver us from another place. But you are gonna fall in your father's line and X, Y, and Z. Um, and that's one thing to think about. Like, I think I've told you guys several times on here, like at some point I was really bold, and like when I would feel something in my spirit, I would just try to go ahead and do it. Like there were times when I first started going to Mountain West, I think. And I felt led to pray for a person that was sitting next to me, and I would ask them, if, can I do that, and da 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 da. And but then I noticed over the past few years, when I get an inkling in my heart about certain stuff that I'm seeing. For example, I've shared with you guys about ways that I've quote unquote fallen short and didn't do what was on my heart and stuff like that. And and it don't feel good, right, to do that, right? It don't feel good to get a word or get an inkling and you don't share or do that. Matter of fact, I was kind of tempted yesterday because as I was listening to something and I thought about an individual, but I know the individual may not want to hear what I was hearing from the particular place that I was hearing it from. And um I debated about whether I should send it, just because I'm like, well, this person might not want to hear this person. But I try like I felt like I guess convicted by that second thought, and I was like, let me go ahead and be obedient, so I went ahead and sent it and let the person know that, hey, I'm listening to this and it made me think about you, X, Y, and Z. And I hope that it can be encouraging and inspiring and be a blessing and be confirmation or whatever it needs to be for the individual and things like that. But we never know like what stemmed to our obedience. So it pays for us to be obedient. It pays for us to not keep silent. Y'all know that I've been struggling with that as well. I told you guys in the past about like There were times where I felt like I received the juice that I'm like, oh, I feel kind of weird giving this juice. You know what I mean? And then there's situations that I feel like, perhaps I'm in the place that I am in to, share and to, quote unquote, teach and things of that nature. But at the same time, I'm like, what makes me qualify for this? And I know there's a lot of biblical figures that ask that type of question, right? You don't feel qualified for whatever God is asking you to do. Matter of fact, one of my guests was talking about that recently. That, like I said, you guys see it in the future. But when we had that conversation, I want to say last week, or maybe a few days ago, but whenever it was, my guest was mentioning that, she didn't necessarily feel qualified for the things that God was calling her to do. But that does not give you any leeway to be disobedient. At the end of the day, we gotta again believe the report of the Lord. He knows you, he created you, and he knows that you can fully well do whatever it is that he's calling you to do. And so we just got to be brave, right? We just got to be bold and walk in the way that the Lord has created for us. So I hope that you're encouraged and inspired by that. Let me go ahead and give you guys another verse. It's Esther 4:13, which is the one right before that verse that I just read a second ago. It says, then Mordecai told them to reply to Esther, do not think to yourself that in the king's palace you will escape any more than all the other Jews. So here's another thing. This might be Pope this morning. We might not want to hear this, but the stuff that again, that we might be being disobedient about and stuff like that, again, it's going to have an effect on you. Like you not being in alignment, or you not obeying the Lord, or you might think that, oh, I'll get away with it, or whatever the case may be, and it's going to fall back on you. Like we don't know how this story would have played out if she didn't go ahead and do what the Lord asked her to do, through Mordecai and things of that nature. Like, we can probably speculate though. Like let's speculate for a second, right? Let's say if she took the route of saying, you know what, I'm in the palace, I ain't got to worry about that, such, and then the law passed and all the Jews is getting slaughtered and X, Y, and Z, and then next thing you know, it came out that she's a Jew too. And then because everything, because it's established and stuff like that, he got to go ahead and kill her too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's an easy, way to speculate of what probably would have happened. Or even if there was a way, like Mordecai said, even if it was like, oh, such and such, such and such, let's start at the top with the Jews at the top and such and such. And then so maybe she would have got killed, and then maybe God would have found another way to save the rest of everybody. You just never know. Like again, what's stems and hinges from you and your obedience. I can see a lot of ways that this is played out in my life. Again, I think about it all the time. What if I didn't make the choices I made back during the cultivation period? What if when I was with my ex, or whatever the case may be, what if I didn't make that choice then, that I made? Like, there's so many things. Like there were so many different crossroad moments for me that was like that, that I think back on and say, man, what if? And I'd be so thankful for, again, each and every choice and each and everything that I have and that I did, because ultimately, again, here I am today, able to share every day the goodness of the Lord. And yeah, man, and you are that important, man. That's another thing to remember, man. You are that important to the plan of the Lord. And so again, what I find is, again, you want to be part of God's plan instead of outside of God's plan. And I mean, I guess that's the juice. All right. So the Bible verse of today is Colossians 3:13. It says, forbearing one another and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against or check and see what the word is, because I don't know. Even as Christ forgave you. It might be ye. Have a quarrel against ye, even as Christ forgave you, so also do you. So yeah, that is the Bible verse of today. You guys can go deeper again about Esther and her story. You can go deeper about this concept of obedience and things of that nature. Just go to openbible.info and plug in obedience. There's plenty of verses there. You guys can peruse them and let them marinate on your heart, souls, and minds, and see what the Lord wants to say to you about that. And yes, there's even an article at gotquestions.org that's called what does it mean that Esther was appointed for such a time as this? If you don't want to take the time to read the whole account, you can at least go read that article and get a word or two. But yeah, man, that's the juice this morning. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to talking to you all on Monday, if the Lord's will. Bye bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.